Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the tonal options available in a jazz bass. Last time we talked about a P bass, and despite it only having one pickup, has a lot of tones in it. The jazz bass has two pickups in it, and is considered by the bass community to be one of the most versatile basses, and in a moment you're going to hear why. Okay, let's start with standard operating procedure on a passive instrument. We're going to turn everything all the way up. Again, my amp is totally flat, and I'm not even going to touch it at all. Here we go, fingerstyle directly over the pickup. First things first, let's talk attack. That means how hard or soft you play with your plucking hand. This is one of the easiest ways to change the way your bass sounds right off. If you dig in really hard, you can kind of get close to that Geddy Lee sound. And if you back it off, you get a nice smooth tone. Personally, I like to use a harder attack in rock music. The treble frequencies that you get with that tend to cut through all the guitars a little bit better. But when you're not competing, it's nice to back it off and then you just get a nice full round sound. Next, let's talk about hand positioning and altering tone. If you play closer to the neck, you get a fatter sound. And playing closer to the bridge gives you a tighter sound. The sounds here and here have some similar application to what we talked about earlier with attack, but you'll find that there's a little bit different voicings. So combining hand position and attack can give you some interesting sounds. So with just those two techniques, we've got a lot of different sounds available to us, and I have not even touched any of these. So let's talk about the controls for a second. On a typical jazz bass, you'll have the three controls. So you'll have volume, volume, tone. This volume controlling the neck pickup, this volume controlling the bridge pickup, and then the smaller one being tone. You'll sometimes see this written out as VVT, volume, volume, tone, and sometimes you'll also see another configuration called VBT, which is a master volume, a blend to mix the two pickups, and a tone knob at the bottom. Neither one is inherently better than the other, and both will give you about the same number of sounds. So let's start twiddling knobs here. We're going to solo this pickup, which means we're going to turn this pickup off by turning its volume all the way down. Now a lot of people feel that this sounds kind of like a P bass, so let's check it out. Now, let's go the other way. Turn the bridge pickup all the way up and the neck pickup all the way off. If you've ever listened to Jaco, you'll recognize this sound. Now, while this sound worked pretty good for Jaco, for the rest of us, the bridge pickup by itself is a little bit thin. So what I'm going to do is take the tone knob and roll it back about halfway, and that'll help us get some of the low end back. So far, we basically talked about 4 different ingredients to playing bass: attack, hand positioning, pickups, and tone. Now, if we were to assume that each one of those 4 has 3 different states that it can be in, for example, attack has, soft, medium, hard. Hand positioning, we have neck, middle, bridge. For pickups, we have both neck and bridge. And for tone, we have all the way on, halfway, and all the way off. That gives us, I think, 81 different possibilities, and that's just with fingerstyle. At this point, you can kind of start to see why the jazz bass is used in so many different kinds of bands. It can just make so many different sounds. I want to take this one step further. Let's talk about playing with a pick. Pick playing adds a whole new dimension to your playing. Now, to properly hold a pick, you're going to set it down on the side of your finger with the point out towards your fingernail, and then come down on top of it with your thumb. And I like to choke it up pretty near the tip, and then this way you don't drop it quite as easily. Now normally you'll see pick playing in some more aggressive styles of music. And while it works great for that, utilizing what we know about attack and tone, we can roll this off a little bit, play closer to the neck, and get some really nice, smooth, clear tones. Now this is just from my own experience and observation, but studio producers tend to like pick playing a little bit better because it's a little bit more consistent. And you can see that with people like Carol Kaye. She does a lot of studio work and she exclusively uses a pick. Now we could keep going and talk about things like slap or palm muting. Lots of other different ways you can get cool sounds, but here's what I'm really driving at. You don't need a bunch of fancy equipment to be a versatile player. If you have a good grasp on some basic playing techniques and can make some adjustments on your bass, you can get a huge number of sounds. Good players can use this information to change their sound before they start reaching for pedals or other equipment. Experiment! Now that you've got some options, combine some crazy things and make some weird sounds. Explore your instrument. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you'd like to see more informational videos like this. If you have any questions on anything I've talked about today, just leave me a comment and I will be down there to answer it for you. Thanks again.